Hey, it's Joe. I'm back to list how I would rank IMDb's top 100, and we're finally in the top 50. So let's start with my number 50, Princess Mononoke. This is just such a beautiful animated film from Studio Ghibli. And I know that so many people are fans of Studio Ghibli as like watching the dubs, or and then the other half like watches the subs. I only watch subs, so I couldn't tell you the voice actors' names, to be honest. It's probably easier like when you watch dubs to recognize celebrity like voice actors, but the voice acting isn't always the thing. I feel like it's when you watch subbed, it's something you take for granted. Like you just expect the voice acting to be really good. And yes, it's good. But what really stands out is obviously the animation, Studio Ghibli, but it's just the story. And I'm not just an auto like lover of Studio Ghibli movies. There are some that I actively dislike, but this one I feel like just it's well put together from a story standpoint, and it doesn't go like too far into like dream logic, which a lot of them do, where it like loses me. It manages to keep like my attention through the whole story, and I didn't feel like overly lost. And obviously a story about like nature preservation and stuff like that is always going to be an important message. Great movie. My number 49 is The Green Mile. Now, this is the type of thing where you can watch it and you don't even know that it's a Stephen King novel, because it's not a horror movie per se, but Stephen King has very like strong characters, and I think it's Frank Darabont who directs this. Yes, his direction in this story is just really well done. Like he gets a solid like normal everyday guy performance out of Tom Hanks, which basically his whole career is making performances like that. But he adds like this sympathy, well, the empathy I should say. He has that empathy because of what the story is. It's basically this like small town prison, and it's not really based fully in reality. Like there's a little bit of that supernatural element, a little Stephen King like little salt on top. But definitely the standout is Michael Clark Duncan, and just the empathy that he gives to the guards, because yeah, he's a prisoner in the movie, but it's a really strong story, and yeah, it's long, but it's just so well done. And you can't help but feel for all the characters and like the drama that's going on. Just a really well made movie. Number 48 is American Beauty. Now I know that this movie has a lot of haters, especially like people looking back on it. They think it's overhyped, but I don't remember the last time I saw it, but I like this movie. I think it's great. Obviously, there's certain actors in this movie that we can't talk about anymore too much, but that aside, if you just look at the film itself and you separate real life and you're just looking at this movie, I think this movie is really good. I like the themes, I like the direction, I like the visuals that they come up with, like the dream visuals. And like, yeah, everyone likes to make fun of, there's like an iconic scene of the bag floating through the air and how pretentious it is. But I don't let that bother me. I think the strength of the film is the story it's trying to tell about like suburban America, you know, and like this regular family, and it's just like good character exploration, and it's just a really solid movie. All right, number 47, a classic, Singing in the Rain. Now, this is one that I saw already as an adult. I didn't catch this when I was younger. I had actually seen Clockwork Orange before this, and Clockwork Orange most notably had caught a lot of flack when it came out because it makes fun of a very specific scene in Singing in the Rain, which is the Singing in the Rain song. And for a musical, and like I know there's people that just straight up won't like musicals, but this one just has so much charm, and it I don't know, it has like that old school charm. I love the colors, like the Technicolor vibrancy, and it's just the dedication to like the craft, because just the dancing is top notch. Like you could tell that Gene Kelly, he puts a lot of work into choreographing and performing well. Like he's famous as, like, in this era, as like an incredible dancer. And I think there's like stories of how demanding he was of his co-stars, and it shows through in their effort. Like you just have top of the line like choreography and dancing and performance, and then just beautiful visuals. You've got really nice written and performed songs. And if you're not just an automatic hater of musicals, I think this is definitely one of the best musicals of all time, for sure. All right, number 46, Paths of Glory. What an incredible war film. I've only seen it one time, but I was stunned at how good this movie is. For a movie from 1957, I was not bored at all. I was like completely enthralled in Stanley Kubrick's direction. And everybody that likes Stanley Kubrick goes like through his heavy hitters, right? Like his famous, like you got The Shining. Maybe you're a little more into his other interesting movies, like maybe his last one, Eyes Wide Shut, or you're a big fan of Clockwork Orange because of the controversy and it's really good still. Or obviously 2001. But his war films are excellent. And this isn't even the best one that he made. But just Kirk Douglas gives such a solid performance. And just the direction at making the horrors of, I think it's World War One. I think it really, for the time, I think it's so excellent. Definitely recommend it. And I think, looking at it now, one of the reasons why I liked it is because it's not even long. Like most war movies love to be close to 3 hours. This is an 88-minute movie. When was the last time you saw a 90-minute war movie? I think that might be why I liked it so much. It's like, wow, like this really snaps. Like it goes straight through, and it's not long. It has good pacing, and it's just interesting. It's set in 1916, and it has like not just the war part, but it's also like a court martial drama. So even that's interesting. Like if you like was it A Few Good Men? I think it was A Few Good Men. Like dramas in the courtroom about like army and military people are very interesting. Like the court martial stuff is really interesting. So definitely I gotta check this one out again. Number 45, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The newest addition to this list, I think chronologically, maybe Oppenheimer came out after. Okay, but this is definitely one of the ones from recently added to this list. And yes, it ends in a cliffhanger, but it is top of the line animation. And for being a middle movie in a trilogy, you're continuing that like character development, and definitely it's standing on the shoulders of the first one, which I think is an excellent film. This one is not as good as the first one, but you can't deny that in the landscape of mediocre animated movies, this is pushing the boundaries of what a quote-unquote animated like kids movie can be. Like this is an animated movie for everybody. And I guess it's just that I like the tone and I guess the audience that they're going for. This isn't like stooping down to like a younger age bracket per se. It has real themes that anybody can enjoy while also having top of the line animation and great character development. Like this is the type of story that you would expect from like a studio Ghibli or just Japanese anime in general, which is the heavier themes and not necessarily made for kids. And we need more of that in American animation. All right, number 44, Harakiri from 1962. I was blown away. I've only seen this one also once, but I was blown away by how entertaining and just edge of your seat that this movie can really be. Because the story is super simple. It's a samurai, or like a ronin. He gets called before his master, and there's the whole drama of like telling the story of how he messed up, and then it just explodes with just great like samurai action, especially for the time. Like, yeah, you're not gonna see full color like limbs getting chopped off and heads coming off, or like blood everywhere, but for 1962 and for how long it is, it's 135 minutes. It completely had my attention, and I was very impressed. If you like samurai, you definitely have to see this movie. And I think it inspired to a large degree something like Ghost of Tsushima. And I love that game. So I definitely recommend this film. Number 43, another Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away. I think this might be my favorite one. I think this might be the one on the list that's the highest, if I remember correctly. But this one is the one that has the most like dreamscape, dream logic stuff, but while keeping me enraptured in it. Something like The Boy and the Heron that just came out, it lost me. I did not like that movie that much, but Spirited Away manages to get the like dream world and get you caught up in it while telling a simple story. And yeah, it's like something like Wizard of Oz, where like the little girl goes to the magical world and then she comes back. It's simple. We've seen this before, but it's the craft, right? It's what Miyazaki does with such a simple premise. Like, yeah, there's the Wicked Witch of the West, and there's like something similar here, and you're seeing a lot of the hallmarks of like that tropey fantasy story that we've seen before, but it's about the craft. You can take the most simple idea, but if you do it well, it stands head and shoulders above the competition. Definitely, you have to see Spirited Away. Number 42, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Now, this movie gets a lot of love online. It's an indie darling, 100%. If you haven't heard of it, if you go on any online forum, it's definitely always on there when people ask for recommendations of like an indie movie that's really good. And I think it's interesting because you're getting such a layered performance from Jim Carrey here. You know, he's not just being a goofball. He's giving a really like sincere, dramatic, like heartbreaking, as in like, because this is a romance movie, performance. And Kate Winslet, obviously, amazing, right? And you really buy their chemistry. But this is so much more than your typical like romance movie, because it doesn't follow the typical beats, maybe up to a point, but it has that extra element, that science fiction element. You know, it's a world where you can go to a company to get your memory wiped of a person. And it's not just your whole memory, right? You're just not going to be like somebody with amnesia. You can have an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend wiped from your memory. And it's just such a cool idea. And you have like the yeah, the some of the same beats as like a typical romance movie where they break up and they get back together, right? But this doesn't stick to it through the end, right? It eventually does its own thing with its own world that it's created here, and it's so like it's so unique, right? So you definitely have to experience this film. All right, and last for today, number 41, a classic, Good Will Hunting. Like, this is just such a feel-good movie, and like it has layers to it, and it has just an amazing story. Like, yeah, this was the movie that Ben Affleck initially started and wrote with Matt Damon, and like, yeah, they're superstars nowadays, and this movie almost didn't get made because they wanted to act in it too. And there's I think Ben Stiller was gonna be in this movie, or he was gonna direct it. And it's just such a simple story. And we've seen movies like this about the mentor and the mentee, but it's just about the craft, right, and the performance. You really believe the sincere relationship between Robin Williams and Matt Damon, and the respect that they have for each other, and that Robin Williams really cares about Matt Damon pursuing a future in academia, or like in like really pushing the boundaries instead of just being stuck as a janitor, as being stuck with like his friends like Ben Affleck, who don't have as much aspiration or potential as Matt Damon does. And yeah, we've seen this before, but this one really hits home. It's just expertly written, expertly performed. You believe all the performances, and it's so simple, so well done. You can't help but love it. So that's going to end my list for today. What do you think of these rankings? Let me know down below, leave a like, and thanks for watching.